Welcome back, friends! Lost Scarf here. It's time for the vlog. Okay, so, there was no vlog last week because I was in Vegas for 10 days. Here's the thing about being in Vegas for 10 days. It's a long time. I lost an exorbitant amount of money there. It's very unfortunate. I was with family and relatives the entire time, so it wasn't like it was a vacation, to be honest. I wasn't working, but I would have rather been working, because I'd be making money. I'd be getting to do what I want to do. When you hang out with family, you appreciate, the good parts, and you tolerate the bad parts. And here's the thing. My family is extremely conservative, very conservative, worryingly conservative, because you just get to see just how far it can go with people that, well, you just have to deal with. Like, you just have to see it. You have to know it. You have to understand it a little bit because of the situation. I'm sure it's the same thing with people who have, like, ultra-liberal family, where they're like, what the fuck is going on? Because the more extreme, the more worrying it is. I don't care which side, both sides worry me when it comes to the extreme sides. I wish my family was more moderate. I really wish it was, but they're just so far to the right. It's so worrying. And how do you get by? You just only agree on the parts that you agree with, and you just don't argue anything. That's how you get by. Now, if they ask your opinion, you give them the most benign version of it, and then they'll eventually cut you off and go back to their soapbox about their political views. That's how it works. Now, you might be asking, why don't you stand up for your beliefs? Because fuck that. That is the best way to put it, because I'm not interested in just not talking to my family. They can believe what bullshit they want, and that's it, because it ain't me changing their mind. It's not gonna be me. Maybe through, if I had to be around them forever, like, I would maybe try to do some hinting and things. No, fuck it, no. I live with my father. I'm never going to change his mind. Why? Because I'm his son, and he knows better than me in his mind. That is what it is, and that is a frustrating thing, because I talked to my uncle. My uncle's like, look, when you become an old man, you just don't listen to the younger generation. Even if they're right, you just don't listen to them because you've been around longer. And that just makes me not want to be that kind of old man, because I'd like to keep growing as an old man. That's how I feel about it. I want to be open. Now, here's the thing. You're going to get a lot of stupid opinions from younger folk, though. You're going to get some really dumb opinions. I've had dumb opinions. I've said this before. Teenagers are idiots. Teenagers are assholes. I was an idiot teenager. I was an asshole teenager. Sometimes I was right, but more times than not, I was not right. I thought I was, but I wasn't. And here's the thing. Here's the thing with the teenagers. They don't realize that. They never do. I didn't, and I know they're not gonna. At the end of the day, you have to wait for them to become adults and realize they were assholes. Every time, all you can have is patience. That's the realization, is you have to be patient with teenagers, because they're not going to get it until they become adults, and they're like, oh, hey, I was an asshole. Like, that's what's going to happen every single time. Till the end of time, that's always going to happen. I don't know what it is. Hope we can figure that out as a people, how to make teenagers not assholes. But we probably won't. Why? Because we're all stuck in our roles. This is not what I want to talk about, but here we are. We're all stuck in our roles that we think we have to be in. We're all fucking George Orwell in The Elephant. Now, what does that mean? Let me explain that real quick, since I just made that reference. George Orwell was very much a part of imperialist Britain. And at some point he was like, man, this is fucked up. And that's why he wrote 1984, Animal Farm, and all that stuff. He was in, I think it was in some part of India, I'll say. Could be wrong. And there was an elephant. And that elephant, like, was annoyed and, like, ran over two people. And so they know where the elephant is. They call him to go take care of the elephant because it's killed people, so it's got to be put down. So he's walking, and he's got this gun, and he's just got a crowd of Indian people. I'm just saying Indian people because I'm pretty sure it was Indian people. It might be Africans, but I'm going to say Indians. And they're just, a bigger crowd keeps going, and it keeps growing, because a bigger crowd's like, hey, he's going to go kill an elephant. So he gets a crowd going behind him. He doesn't want this crowd behind him. He doesn't want all this pressure to go kill an elephant. He just wants to go do his job, but he's got this pressure on him. And so the elephant's calm. It's being cool. It's not killing anybody. It's just hanging out. He's like, well, I don't really want to kill this elephant, but I guess I have to kill the elephant because that is what's required of me. That is my role here. I am forced to be the bad guy. I'm forced to be the man who kills the elephant because that's what is expected of me in this situation. I'm the white man with the gun, and they're looking at me to do this. And I don't want to kill this elephant, but I have to, so killing this elephant. And that was like the story of just him just realizing just how shitty imperialism is, because Britain just takes over all these places, and then Britain's expected to be, well, keep being imperialist, because that's what they are now. That's what he sees, like, I am here to hold down all these people and keep order here, and that's just who I am, and I'm stuck being this person, whether I like it or not. I can't relent, I can't be soft, I have to be hard. And that's what I think happens with people is, we assume we have to be what we are. We at some point, old men assume they have to just be just hard in their opinions, never, ever shifting, never adapting, just an old dog who doesn't learn new tricks. When bullshit, you can teach a new dog new tricks. Fuck that. You give a dog enough treats, he's gonna freaking learn. He's gonna learn that shit because he wants those treats. That's what's gonna happen. You can teach an old dog new tricks. An old man can become a more enlightened old man. Because all my bosses are in this mindset of marriage sucks because your wife just takes all your money. And they let that happen. And it's just like, my boss makes $160,000 a year. He went from like 100 something, and he just keeps getting raises and raises and raises. But he doesn't have any more money because all the money he makes gets siphoned off by his wife, and she uses it. And that's just expected. It's just expected that the wife spends the money, the husband just makes the money, and that's it. That's the expectation. And that's the same thing with all the other guys. And they're all like, yeah, you shouldn't get married, man, because the wife's just going to suck all the money out of you. Well, the only liberal guy in the group who is also married is like, hey, my wife's my best friend. We share money. I buy things I want. She buys things she wants. When we got to tighten up, we tighten up. It's like, yeah, that sounds better to me. That sounds right to me. Because it's just all like, oh, I got to deal with my wife. Well, he's like, he just loves being with his wife. I don't understand. You can just not have that situation. You can just not be in a marriage where it's like the wife wastes all my money. Like, you can just not be in that marriage. You got to figure that out early. You can just not be in that. Like, there's a lot of pressure on women because they're expected to be child bearers. That should not be a thing on them. As a people, yeah, we still need kids. Like, we need that. Like, we need to keep pumping them out. Like, I will say this because obviously I can say from an ivory tower. If I could, I would. Because I don't know if it's a biological clock or just because I just like kids or what, but it's just, if I could make them myself, I would, baby. Like, I would. Like, I would take that pain for you. Why would I take that pain for you? Because I have known so many pains in my life. I feel like just add another one to the list, to be honest. I could do it. Like, seriously. If I could just do it, I would. And I mean that without any irony or anything. It's just like, I've suffered a lot in my life, to be honest. Bearing a child, which is considered the most painful thing ever, I'd be down to do it if I could. I really would, because I have such a pain tolerance now. I'd go for it. I'd do it. Because that is a thing that I have with women I've dated. They're like, look, I have to bear the child. It's going to suck total ass. Like, you should take care of me. I'm like, I agree. I should take care of you. And I will. Where we going? Just the things that are expected of us. I don't like to use the word flip the script, but we can just be different than that. We don't have to be imprisoned by tradition. We don't need to be imprisoned by what others think of us. Although it does imprison us a lot, because for some reason we all care about what strangers think of us. And in truth, the only reason why we should care what strangers think of us is if we consider strangers potential friends, or maybe potential enemies, I suppose. But if we really saw strangers as strangers, I really think we shouldn't give a damn what anyone else thinks. Like, The only reason why we should care what other people think is because we think it will actually impact us. At some point, I really lived that, and then at some point I lost that. And I kind of wish I had that again. It's not exactly being I don't give a shit, it's more I understand that this might be the only time I ever see this person, and that should not have any bearing on me. Because for some people, I'm going to be a funny story. Or I'm going to be nothing at all. Even though they saw me one time, that's going to leave their memory eventually. They're like, look at this dingus. They're going to make that joke to somebody like, just seeing you from behind. Not everyone looks great from behind. Maybe you got a funny walk, or maybe you had toilet paper on your shoe, whatever. But like, oh, look at that dingus, that's funny. And then they're going to forget about you like the next day. That might have been embarrassing for you, but you're not going to be remembered after that. Despite that, I do have fun with pushing into stereotypes and traditions and things like that. I do have fun pushing into that. Because I'll be like, I'll make fun of just Asian pride and Asian. Like, I like making fun of being really good at math for some reason. I like making fun of that. Because I am. So, but like, it's like, well, you calculate that real quick. It's like, Asian. I say that and then they laugh. Like, I just enjoy doing that. I don't know if it's really good for us, but I always enjoy doing that. And so people are just multifaceted. So why am I talking about what I'm talking about? I don't know. That's where the brain's going. So I was in Vegas. Oh, one more thing. Well, like, I fucking hate the conservative belief that they're the only ones who love America. I fucking hate that shit. You want real rage? That fucking pisses me off. 4th of July just happened. I'm with my conservative family, and they're like, the liberals don't care about America. They hate America. No, they want America to be better. That's what they fucking want. When you love something, you should criticize it to try to find how to make it better. The most vocal fans of anything are the people who love it the most. Because the haters eventually just disappear, because obviously they hate it in the first place. But the ones who love something, they're the most critical, because they're there and actually see everything. I love my country. It's got a lot of flaws. But it's not fucking great. We got some bullshit going on. And I wish we'd do better. My uncle was telling me about how this song he really likes called Am I the Only One? And the fucking song is just such a jack-off motion. It was like, am I the only one who bleeds for this country? Am I the only one not brainwashed? The second he said that, he's obviously brainwashed. Are you fucking kidding me with that bullshit? How many expletives are we doing today? Are you fucking kidding me with that shit? Self-righteous bullshit is what that is. Am I the only one not brainwashed? Am I the only one willing to bleed for my country? Am I walking through this lost land? Are you fucking kidding me? Flaws and all, I still love being here. Could be better. Could always be better. But you gotta be fucking kidding with this self-righteous bullshit. It's weird when, like, there are points to be made that can be made by conservatives. And, like, great, I wish you did more of that incorrectly. Like, you know how amazing it is? The lack of irony of the people who hate on Biden and his family. They're like the Biden family's a bunch of crooks. And about Hunter, how he didn't pay his taxes, and they're harping on that. I'm like, you know that the Trump family's the same, right? Like, I don't know how you, without irony, without any fucking shred of irony, go after the Bidens and don't think about Trump at all in the same light. I don't know how you do that. I just don't understand. There is a whole lot of Kool-Aid here to not think there's a fucking problem when it comes to Trump. I just don't get it. And he was only a Republican for like a decade. He was a Democrat for his entire life, up until a point, because he wasn't getting what he wanted out of the Democrats. I've said this before, if anyone was a rhino, it was fucking Trump. He's only using the conservatives because they serve a purpose, because the Democrats were not going to his purpose. That's it. Trump is not for anyone but himself. That has been obvious from the start. It's really dumb to think otherwise. While I was in Vegas, I was propositioned. What a transition. So, while I was there, I was just hanging out, having fun, playing slots. Now, here's the thing. For some reason, prostitutes really like to troll the slot area looking for desperate men who want to just, have sex. Now, in my mind, sex work is real work. I'm not against that. People need release. People just need another body sometimes. There are lonely people. I am not against that whatsoever. Like, I've said that to girls on dating apps. They're like, I'm a sex worker, so you have to be okay with it. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm fine with that. You just have to also be cool with doing it for free. That's such a dumb joke. So, that's really my only mindset there is like, yeah, it's work. Like, when you make sex work, I'm sure actual sex isn't very fun, but I hope you're still willing to do actual sex. Like, I'm sure if you're like, there's like cooks don't like cooking when they go home. They just want to eat and go to bed. It's an unfortunate thing. When you make something your job, well, it's not going to be fun eventually. That's unfortunate. Now, off that tangent, so I got a proposition. So what was happening was, as to be honest, she was dressed for very hoochie, and I had a guess, but I just really wanted to play the slot machine. To be honest, I really wanted to play the slot machine because I had a feeling that this was going to go good, and there was just a lady there next to it, and I got on the slot machine. She's like, "Oh, you don't want to play slot machine? Someone just hit a jackpot." I'm like, "No, I feel like this is going to go well," and so I'm just playing. And I start winning. I'm making money. I'm winning money. And then she's like, fuck it. Well, there's a guy here, so I'll just talk to him. So then we talk, we're chatting, and who knows if anything she told me was real, but I told her real things about me. Like, I'm here for freaking 10 days. I'm with my father because he loves Vegas. I got a room here. Yada, yada, yada. I'm here for the 4th of July and so on and so forth. She says she's been here for a week. And I'm just playing, and I'm doing really well while we're talking. I am making money off this slot machine. And then she says, so you want to hang out? I'm like, what do you mean by hang out? As I keep pushing the button, because I'm making money on this slot machine. And she says, well, I'm like, I had a guess, but I didn't want to judge. Not judge, but I didn't want to, be wrong. That, like, if you say it and then be wrong, that would, of course, you'd look like a D-bag, right? So I'm like, I had a guess, but I, wasn't sure. And she's like, okay, touch me. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean touch me? She's like, and she pulls down her shirt and she's like, just go for a feel. I'm like, of course there was temptation, but I'm like, I can't. And she's like, well, I need you to prove you're not a cop. And I'm like, prove I'm not a cop. Okay. I'm like, this is a cop. This is a cop. And she's like, yeah, they can go undercover and look like you. I'm like, really? I was like, cop standards ain't great, apparently. Although I'm told that the police in Vegas are actually very good, so I'm just extra surprised. Yeah, because you have to be really good. You're in Vegas. It's chaos there. You got to be a good cop. So I was like, you got to be kidding me. And like, I can't prove I'm not a cop, and I'm not going to go for the feel here because I'm like, how can you prove you're not a cop? That was the next thing. I was like, are you sure you're not a cop? Because if I were to do the thing she asked, that is sexual harassment, and that is in public. There's cameras, because we're in Vegas. This could be entrapment hella bad. Like, so I was like, no, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna. Am I tempted? Yes. But, no. I don't really want to go to jail in Vegas. I don't want to lose money for legal reasons. So I don't go for it. And she's like, okay, well, I'm out. And I'm like, all right, well, I can't prove I'm not a cop, but I wish you the best luck, is what I told her. And here's the thing. I wish I said this next thing, and that was, can I give you $20 to hang out? Now, why am I saying that? Because during this entire conversation, I am making money. I keep hitting and doing well on this slot machine. It's going very well. But to the point, like, I make like 200 off the slot machine. I make 200 off the slot machine. And I started losing when she left. I'm like, I really think she was a good luck hooker. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I wish I looked which way she went so I can go track her down and bring her back and like, here, $20, just sit here. It's like, you're making money just hanging out, still making money. You haven't found a man named John yet, but hey now. You're making money just hanging out with me. I wish I did that, because who knows how much more money I could have made. I could have made a friend. I could have made a friend. Because, like, let's say here's the scenario. She sits there, and I just keep making more and more money. It just keeps going up and up and up. And like, all right, here's another 20. Let's just keep going here. And just like, all right. I'm about to give her a cut after all that. And like, say, just goes up to like maybe 800. I've won 1,000 off a slot before. So like, let's say it just goes up to a couple hundred. Like, all right, here you go. Here's 10% or something like that. Then made a friend. But no, that's not what happened. What happened was what I said. Like I said, wish you the best of luck. And then that's the last time I saw her. In my head, I was like, how could that have gone in other ways? Like, oh, I also asked her at some point, I was like, so what is the running price, by the way? I was curious, but she says, I can't tell you because I think you're a cop. I'm like, all right. Apparently even talking about prices would get her in trouble, which is unfortunate. It's too bad. It's too bad. But what if she was a cop? I was thinking, wouldn't that be like an SNL skit of just like undercover cop, and they're just both trying to entrap each other, but neither one's kept pulling it off? I think that'd be funny. She was nice. It was weird. Like, she was nice looking, but she was hoochied up. Like, she had like super long lashes, very long nails, but they're all like very painted differently and everything. Very loose and tight in certain area clothing. I was like, yeah, she looks like one, but I'm just not gonna assume. She could just be this is her fashion. Because having been to Vegas many times in my life, you can see it. Because if you just people watch, you see who is, and it usually is a hoochie dress. It really is. The hoochie dress is the way to go for prostitutes, evidently. And you'll see them sometimes meet up with their pimps, and you can see the pimps hanging out in the periphery and just keeping an eye on them and things like that. Because obviously, well, they're not getting paid if they're not, grabbing a Joan. And so you just see things like that. There's a lot more to talk about. I can't believe how long we're going here. Is there anything to say? Oh, the Sphere. So the Sphere got unveiled in Vegas on July 4th. They did like a whole fireworks thing. The Sphere is insane. This thing, $2 billion to make. It's a giant building. It's a big old ball. And every night now, it's going to do some really cool looking stuff with the LEDs on it. It has 1.2 million LEDs. Costs $2 billion. I don't know how much electricity it uses. Even with LEDs, that's a lot of electricity. But it does all this cool stuff. I need to send Jinx some footage. I sent her the moon footage, which is really cool. I need to send her some other things so she can put it on the screen at this point, because it's so cool. Although you can find it on YouTube real quick. I should have posted my stuff on YouTube. That would have gotten me views for sure the first night. Like, it's on Reddit right now. It's getting all the upvotes on Reddit. I wish I did that too. I had time to be the first one to do all this stuff, and I didn't because I assumed someone else did it first. They didn't. I had lead time to do it. I feel dumb for not jumping on that. But of course, it'd be like a one-off thing that's not going to get me any subs or anything. It's just going to get me views, and that's it. I'm not really interested in having 1 million views on something that does not have any real pull. So let's end this thing. What to say? I was saying, like, sometimes conservatives are right in that my uncle was complaining about virtue signaling, and he was complaining in a way I wasn't expecting, and that was like the people who they support our troops, and also Blue Lives Matter people. He's complaining about them and how there's a lot of fakers on that. I'm like, yeah, I assume there would be, and just complaining about virtue signaling. It's like, yeah, I would assume there's a lot of just people who just say they're for something, but they're not actually for it. They're just trying to make them feel better about themselves about things. But he was also complaining about just all these other liberal things for virtue signaling. Like, oh my god. Like, I get it, because that is not incorrect. There's plenty of just companies, to be honest. To be perfectly honest, companies just want your money. They're the biggest virtual signalers in the world because they just want your money. That's long enough. We've talked enough here. There'll be a vlog next week, and then there won't be a vlog the week after because Comic-Con will be happening, and I'll be at Comic-Con. I was going to cosplay as Isekai Oji-san. Unfortunately, turns out cosplay outfits, you have to order them a month ahead, and Comic-Con's in 2 weeks. So I blew it. This stuff would be here like at the end of Comic-Con. So my B for not realizing you need to order ahead, because you need to, obviously a tailor has to do all the work on it, and I wasn't thinking. I thought 2 weeks would be enough. You need 3 to 4 weeks. So I'm not going to be dressed up. Hopefully there's going to be a new character between now and next year that's really cool that I could dress up as, because I can definitely do Isekai Oji-san, but that's going to be a year old at that point, so I don't want to dress up on something that's not relevant for the year. So we'll see. Although Jinx and I both think I could pull off. Oh, what's his name? MHA, the big yellow guy, the sugar guy. What's his name? Jinx, just put a picture of that guy. That guy right there. I could pull him off if I just buffed up and slimmed down. I could definitely be him. I want to be Deku because of the hair, but I definitely don't have Deku's build. I'd have to be like, if Deku just got fat. The goal, though, is between now and next year is to lose about 20, 30 pounds of fat and to gain muscle, lean muscle more, although I'm a bulky boy, so that my back just has less to deal with. Ultimately, I need to lose weight, but I also want to gain muscle too because I like having a nice physique. And that's it. Okay, so that's it. That's the vlog. I am done talking already. I hope you had fun listening. Look, I know some of you guys are conservative. I know that. And I don't hate you. But if you love Trump, it really bothers me, because that's very worrying, guys. That is not the man you should love. He is not. That man does not care about you. He does not love you. Stop it. Stop it. Obviously Biden doesn't love me either. But it's really weird how much people are just on Trump. It's really weird. Alright, so that's the vlog. I had fun. Hope you had fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by and see you next time. And I didn't even talk about affirmative action. That whole bullshit that happened. Oh my god. Well, it's because I already talked about it. I already talked about it. Look, it's all going to get whiter. Now that affirmative action is dead, it's all just going to get whiter, guys. That's it. The Asian guy who got that killed, he wouldn't have got in anyway, even with affirmative action gone. Because it's just going to get whiter. Now that there's no rules, it's going to get whiter. And why wouldn't it? There's no reason why it wouldn't. Rules are in place because people do shenanigans. And now that there's no rules, more shenanigans. That's how it works. Honor system? Honor system? You think you're going to trust people with the honor system on anything? You foolish. You foolish with that, because that ain't how it works, unfortunately. So that's it. That is the vlog. I had fun. Hope you fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time. And bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye. Oh yeah, I had ice cream. Bye 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 ice cream ice cream ice cream. Bye bye bye. I had a banana split for the first time in like 15 years. Bye 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 bye.